Hey everyone, welcome to another live stream on my channel, Costume Co. It's Heidi. Nice to see everyone. And today we're going to do WandaVision, which is this fabulous new show that is on, it's actually streaming on Disney Plus, or is it Disney Plus? I'm not even sure. Disney.
Oh, it sure is.
The Mickey Mouse channel.
Yeah.
And with me today to break all this down for you is my really great friend, Justin Thomas from Shelf Fandom. He's here with me. And being the crazy people that we are, me a Canadian, him an American, we decided that we would do 2 streams today, count them 2. So we're starting off here. We're doing WandaVision on my channel, and we're going to go for about an hour and a bit. And then at 4 o'clock EST, we're going to hop over to Justin's channel, and we're going to talk about the prequel show, House of the Dragon. So hope you guys, and Gray Area is going to be there with us as well. So it's going to be a threesome over there. Right now, it's just a twosome.
Yeah.
So I just want to welcome everyone who's coming in. Oh, there's Shadow Cat Bex. Hello, girl. We're just talking about you. So anyway, just to start off, Justin, why don't you say hello to everyone and tell everybody a bit about yourselves? I'm sure they know who you are, though.
Oh, no, let's not assume anything. Is this camera right? I tried to actually get at eye level and take care of my vanity.
Looking good, friend.
Or disregard my vanity. I mean, and it fell right off. So that was God's way of saying I'm ugly. But anyways, no, happy to be here, and I'm loving this show. And I think that this is a unique perspective because there is a lot of great channels out there, like Heavy Spoilers, even Screen Rant, that are very comic centric. Comics Explained, obviously, by the title. They go into all the Easter eggs, and I've been finding those channels very much applicable and something that I've been enjoying for this series, which is always a good sign. Like, talk about content is always a sponge, squeeze as much joy as possible out of it. But me and Heidi, I hate to speak for both of us, but I'll just go ahead and do it. We're not like big comic book people. We are aware of the movies. We've seen all the films. We're not ignorant to it, but we're also not deep divers. And I think there's a lot of people that maybe might be on the line when it comes to the show. So I think that we can introduce not only Heidi's educated insight into the costuming and set design and so forth, actual production, and a little bit of my, the overarching story and what I take from it, but also, hopefully that anybody that feels like they are not included in the club of this, very insider Marvel universe when it gets to the deep dives, we can provide it within a medium that is still very much enjoyable, which I believe it is, and very much an homage and almost a pretty much film theory class is how I look at this series as a whole. So I'm very excited to be here. And you can.
I'm so happy to have you. Yeah. So I messaged Justin last week, actually. I said, Justin, we got to do something on WandaVision because, I know this is like, I'm not an expert on these breakdowns in terms of the story and all the meanings and the Easter eggs. But as a layperson watching it, I've been finding it a really fun show. Of course, I love the costumes. Immediately, I was like, wow. Costumes on this are amazing. So just thought that it would be really fun to have all of you come in and we could chat about it. So I want to say hi to some people. So we've got Derek Archer's here. We got Pooja Vasant. We have Tamara, who calls me Coco. That's my nickname now, by the way. Tony Teflon has called me Coco. That's because it's Costume Co. So Coco is my nickname, which I love because that's sort of a Flashdance reference. Or is it Flashdance? Or is it the one about the school? The School of Dance.
I don't know. I don't have
Justin,
my
you're too young.
Yeah. No. Flashdance thing. He calls me motherfucker. I don't know. Yeah, that's endearing. No,
I don't think she calls you that. And of course, Rebecca is here, my girl pal. Angel Olover's here, Sabina, and 30 Day Reviews. Hello. Peter Griffin's here. And hopefully I haven't missed anybody. Really great crew. So anyways, you guys, hopefully after we're done here, you will come over to Justin's channel and we will do that 4 p.m. EST live stream after. So, so let's just start at the beginning. What are your general thoughts on this show?
Well, first off, when I saw the format and what they were proposing and what they were marketing, right, I was like, wow, very ambitious. Like Marvel has been they've honed the medium of this superhero genre. Nolan kicked it off with Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, right? And then Marvel has seemingly just like, just kicked their ass as far as putting together organized or overarching stories and movies that mesh together in a story thread using a multitude of sources, that whether or not they be, comic accurate or not, but pulling from a plethora of different sources. And I said, wow, they're taking a chance with this and it looks very interesting. And the quote I mentioned it to a fellow podcaster. I said, this is either going to be like just game changing or it's going to be garbage. And very ballsy to come out with your first pretty much 22-minute episodic series, very formulaic in that sense. And I was very much so pleased with what I got in the first 3 episodes, especially. And I thought that it showed the range of their talented cast. And it definitely had that dark psychological thriller aspect to it. And I thought it was fantastic. And I also sent it over to somebody like my mother, who I like to talk about television with and all that. And she was more of the I Love Lucy and Dick Van Dyke era, right? Which the first 2 episodes very much so drive from. And, she really enjoyed it. And she knows nothing about this. So I think that there, in a broad sense, this is a very entertaining and impressive show, regardless if you're tied into the storyline or what happens in the Doctor Strange movie that'll tie in production wise, because this is an homage to what I'm always talking about. We cite story for life, not life for story. And this is what Wanda is doing. So,
yes, absolutely. And like, I swear to God, Rebecca is kind of like my husband. She always has to tell me, like, if I can't remember something. So it was Fame, which is Coco, was the character Coco was in Fame. I don't know if you used to watch that show, Justin. So it's funny because some of these older shows, I definitely watched them. I would have watched reruns like of, I Love Lucy and the Dick Van Dyke Show, and of course Bewitched and those types of shows, the Brady Bunch, that type of thing. So it's feeding into your nostalgia. You're feeling very nostalgic about it as well. Did you find that you had that sort of like it really kind of tugged at you a little bit? I know in some ways, in some not so positive ways for you too.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially the Brady Bunch, to challenge anybody to trivia on it. I like to go and party at my brother's house in Raleigh and challenge his partner to Brady Bunch trivia all day long. I will wreck it. But yeah, no, I found it to be quite appealing, and I found it to be, again, like almost a course in film theory, and especially the adaptation, even at a technical, from a technical, perspective, meaning like going from the 3-cam shot to, then we move forward into more of the Andy Griffith territory where you start to see like, you get these purviews from the outside and so forth. So I thought it's a masterclass in editing, cinematography, and storytelling all in one. And it's very ambitious and very artsy, I would say. Very impressive.
Yeah. So I've got a bunch of pictures. We could just, kind of maybe go through them. So, we were mentioning the first one. It's funny. I chose this font and it doesn't recognize it here in this PowerPoint. So it's defaulted to this weird font. So if you're wondering why it's lowercase, I had this really nice font picked out. Anyways, these things happen. So yeah. So the very first episode is funny because as soon as I saw this episode, I was like, the Dick Van Dyke Show, because I recognized the stairs. That's at the very beginning of the Dick Van Dyke Show. Dick Van Dyke does a pratfall where he falls and trips over the stairs, and it's like da 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 da.
Well, it's the Ottoman.
Remember that song, right?
It's the Ottoman, right? And then there's variations. It's almost like, remember the Simpsons now, kind of also paying homage to it, because like Dick used to walk in and he would usually trip over the Ottoman, and now Vision.
Oh, the Ottoman,
Get it. Come on. This is like the one fact I know on Heidi. So I'm gonna just
sorry.
You're gonna see my true character right away, right here. And I'm gonna nail her. Hey,
all right, that's fine. I don't mind being corrected.
No, it is the Ottoman. It's like the like recliner and the footstool, blah blah blah. But Vision walks right through it. But Dick also would deviate every once in a while, like, you know what I mean? Like, so sometimes in that opening, Dick Van Dyke would turn. Because like he was like, oh my God, I'm an idiot. I need to stop drinking so much and move away. But no, it was quite funny, and it was almost like a prelude to the contemporary intros that we got in like the 90s and early 2000s. If that makes any sense. Yeah, it was Ottoman though. Yeah, look how smart I am. Yeah,
you are. So, all right. So again, unless the first thing I want to say, there's probably going to be some spoilers in this. Okay, everyone. So we probably can't help it. We won't go into too many, actually, we won't go into any deep dive spoilers, but superficial spoilers will be here. So, did you, when you watched this, did you have any idea about the production and how they sort of went about this, Justin? Or
No.
did you not find out until after?
In what sense do you mean? Did I do
I mean, regarding how they did the shooting and all that, like in front of a live audience and that.
Oh, no, I had no pre-existing knowledge about this other than I was very intrigued by it, and I thought, I'm like, wow, this has to be again something that's going to be terrible or something that's going to be awesome. And of course, there's always lulls and the enjoyment and so forth, not your laughs, but drops and so forth with things that don't connect. But yeah, no, I took it and consumed it without planning on making any videos or doing any podcasts on it. And I found it to be a masterclass in like I said, cinematography and just an homage, not a parody of these great television series. And this is what somebody like Wanda would manifest. And we can get into spoiler territories later on, but we cite story for life. So this makes perfect sense. And it goes with my thesis statement that I made a long time ago and made way too many videos about that's what we do. So I think that this is a very intelligent series and a big risk for them as well, to be clear. But I think it did pay off, and hopefully more people like us that aren't owners of comics or even have read the comics will dive into, and you'll get more enjoyment from it.
It's funny, Rebecca, we're going to get to that episode, but Rebecca says that she didn't think that the last episode was an homage to Arrested Development, but I mentioned to you that I thought it was the thing with the truck. When they steal the truck and then they're stuck at that intersection, which I mean, for me, that was one of the funniest scenes I think I've seen in a long time. I laughed so hard at that scene. Like they're in a funnel, what do you call it? A funnel waffle. What do you guys call them? We call them beaver tails up here. You got funnel cake, a funnel cake truck. That they steal from the circus, and then they're stuck at that intersection. And I was like, this is totally an Arrested Development type music. Is even the music I thought, or maybe it's that other one. There's that other show as well, Curb Your Enthusiasm. I thought, I don't know, I just felt that was sort of like that type of thing you would see, like a Blue Man Group thing or something.
Well, I got the Arrested Development vibe from it, but Modern Family as well. The Office,
Modern Family,
and evidently Happy Endings is the series in which they took the intro directly from, which is kind of surprising because it's not all that prevalent or well known.
I've never even heard of that.
I watched a few episodes and I see it, but I think that it kind of speaks to the genre and speaks to the mashing up of that breaking of the fourth wall, which we've seen very, it's been conveyed in a very like fun way for me, like with the characters literally breaking through the four walls before this past episode, and now they've started to address the camera as you get your docu style episodic serial. And I think that it just kind of speaks to the genre in general, that everybody's pulling from everybody, and it's like where did the chicken or the egg situation. So I think there's a valid argument that maybe I got the Arrested Development vibe, so did Heidi, and this was just us like randomly chatting. So I mean, that is
just when they're pulling out in the truck, and then the guy's banging on the window, and it just like it felt like he's she's wearing this circus costume, and he's Vision in his full Vision costume. It just seems so preposterous. And then they're stuck at the crosswalk, and these guys, it's like something out of like a Charlie Chaplin movie where these guys just come into the intersection. Oh, we got to do some construction work here. And they're like, he's like, this is Wanda. She's trying to stop us from getting to her. It was just so funny. I just laughed so hard at that.
Yeah, I was so relieved for this past episode, just as a side note, because it really speaks to, again, how proficient they are at actually depicting the genre in which they're trying to do. I hated Malcolm in the Middle. Yeah. So thus, honestly, I hated the last episode. I hate that grimy, dirty family drama or comedy. You know what I mean? That they really experimented a lot in the late 90s. I get it. Life sucks and we're all, a big mess. But I experience that every day, and the levity is lost on me in those. But I also respect it and think it's true to it, because I don't like that show. Thus, I didn't like that episode, and that really speaks volumes, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I before we went on, I said I hated Full House. Like I totally hated it. And when I found out that they were reviving it, I'm like, how is this even being revived? So for me, that was just like for the 80s, that was just like one of the worst. But of course, there's this connection obviously to Elizabeth Olsen and her sisters being in it. And it was funny, years ago, I was working at a restaurant and Jesse and the wife, Lori Loughlin, and a couple of other people from the show were in the restaurant. And I went up to them and chatted with them for a little while. They were very nice. Like the guy who played Jesse he was a really nice guy.
John Stamos?
John Stamos, yeah.
Handsome man.
He's short.
What? Yeah, they all are. They all are.
Yeah, he's pretty short.
Yeah. I met Dave Coulier at a stand-up.
And Lori was very tiny, like super tiny, because I'm 5'7", so she probably was like maybe 5'5" or something.
Oh, yeah, she's in prison, or she just got out.
Yeah, I think so.
So congratulations, Lori.
But I wanted to say, so actually, Pooja says the first 2 episodes were in black and white. Do they have to make some changes? Sorry, I just moved to the costumes to make them look better in black and white. So this is a really great question. So do you want to talk about the black and white episodes?
Yeah, let's start at the beginning because I want to know what you think about the depiction of these actual, the aesthetics of this series.
Well, I absolutely love them. So first of all, this is what was really cool for me. Now, as soon as I saw this, it reminded me kind of of Pleasantville, like it had a Pleasantville vibe, which, if anybody's seen that movie, it's a fabulous, fabulous movie where 2 characters in the present time and thrust into the 1950s and everything is black and white. And eventually it sort of becomes colorized because of their passions or because of their, they're bringing sort of their modernness to the 50s. So it immediately reminded me of that. And in the case of Pleasantville, they actually wore black and white costumes and had black and white makeup. But in this case, they actually were wearing color and shot it in black and white.
What do you mean by that, though? If I could stop you, what do you mean by
Pleasantville?
No, what do you mean by they wore, this is a general question, like they wore black and white costumes?
In Pleasantville, they actually wore the costumes you see on camera in Pleasantville, which are black and white. They're actually wearing black and white, and they're actually wearing black and white makeup. So it was like practical. They didn't shoot it in black and white. They actually were in black and white. So the sets and the costumes and the makeup were all black and white in the movie Pleasantville.
So what? They just had to change the lighting in post?
Well, what I'm saying is, so in this show, everyone's wearing color and it's shot in black and white. Whereas in Pleasantville, everything was actually black and white and gray. You know what I mean?
But the sky and I'm talking about like the exterior.
Oh, well, I don't know about the exterior scenes. They would have had to fix that. But in terms of the costumes like that they were wearing, like the Jim Cleaver and all that type of thing, she's actually wearing a black and white dress. Whereas here, she's actually wearing a colored dress, right?
Yeah.
It's actually green. Kind of a pale green dress. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like the merging between Technicolor, right, and black and white. Is that correct? Like, I mean, they're putting a filter on it after, but
oh yeah, no, they're actually shooting it. They're actually shooting it in black and white. So this still I have here is a production still. Like, so someone's on the set and took this picture. The film and the camera was actually black and white film. They did shoot it in black and white, but it was done in front of a live studio audience. So regarding the costumes, I don't know about the sets as much. They actually would take, like when they would go buy fabric, she said the challenge that they had was that, you've got your blacks, you've got your whites. So anything dark would be black, anything really light would be white, but your middle tone colors would eventually be gray. So they actually would use their cell phone with a black and white filter and take a picture of the fabrics to see what they would look like. And which I thought was really interesting because I've talked about Edith Head before, who is this fabulous costume designer from the 50s and 60s. And it was funny because there's a mention of Audrey Hepburn being an inspiration here for the wedding dress. And Audrey Hepburn was in this movie called Roman Holiday, which was designed by Edith Head. And what Edith Head would do is she'd have this lens that she would use in a fitting, and she would look at through the lens, and it had a filter on it and would show you what things would look like in black and white. And eventually she just had to do it so much, she got her glasses fitted with these lenses. So when she would wear her glasses, she would see in black and white. Isn't that crazy? So everything would be color, but she would see it in black and white.
Yeah,
That's commitment.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm colorblind, and I'm not. I'll just shut up here. But like, it is. I get what you're saying. That it was almost I guess in a layman's terms, you're saying they shot Pleasantville more practically.
They shot it practically, exactly.
Okay.
Because there's one scene in Pleasantville, I don't know if you remember, where he takes the makeup and he wipes it away, and then you could see the color underneath it.
Oh, so it's like white makeup, like literally like Elizabethan.
Yeah, it was it was so amazing. Like, I'm pretty sure it won best costumes because it was just brilliant how they did it. Whereas here they had everyone was on a color set, wearing colored costumes, like we see here. There's Matt. What's his name? The director that you were mentioning earlier.
It is Matt. He's the only director, which I'm very Matt Shankman.
Matt Shankman, and he actually directed a couple of episodes of Game of Thrones as well. So you can see the kitchen's actually blue, and she's wearing like kind of a blue dress with like an ivory colored apron. But in the actual here, let me.
They lied to me then, Heidi. How dare they lie to me?
Yeah. So whereas here. So whereas it's funny because, like, for instance, I saw some kind of like article on her clothes, and the person who looked at that imagined that her dress was pink. So they said, oh, here's a dress you can buy that looks kind of like her dress, because they didn't know what her dress color actually was. And this is what would happen with black and white. In fact, sometimes I've seen where they've colorized a movie that was black and white, and they've chosen the wrong color for it. So her dress wasn't actually pink, but it was actually this, sort of soft, blue-green color, which was
I don't want to get all sappy and philosophical on you, but isn't that interesting though, that we see what we want to see, and they think that dress is pink. They think that is what she is conveying, which would be a very contemporary, old school, don't get on me, idea of what a woman would wear in this time, right? You think pink. And maybe that's just what you are, programmed to see. And I always find that interesting because there is slight deviations even within black and white. Like, have you ever seen, it's with Sam, is it Sam Jones? It's off. He does he's a photographer, and he does the interviews with a bunch of actors, and it's, I think it's Sam Jones. Is
it over chicken wings?
No, it's not. I'll look it up and get it to you because I know
James Lipton. No,
it's the guy that's off camera with Sam something, and he's a photographer, and he has like a void. He has a red lamp in the center, so it's not technically black and white, and he has this. You'll see the paneling behind him. I'll figure it out. I think it's Sam Jones, and I'll show you. Continue on. It's me babbling.
I believe you.
I find it fascinating that you can see color even within black and white to a point, because there is different shades.
Exactly. So like, for instance, the costume designer, by the way, I was going to just tell everybody here, she's kind of a big deal. Maya C. Rubio. She's it's funny because I was doing some transcripts of her. She's got a very thick accent. So I'm trying to write down, and like at one point she refers to Elizabeth Olsen as Lizzie. So I was like, what is she saying there? But I guess everyone calls her Lizzie because I've seen this in a couple of interviews. That Elizabeth Olsen is Lizzie, which I thought was super cute.
Do you think if I ever meet her, I should just directly call her Lizzie?
I think you probably should call her Ms. Olsen.
No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to put up that. Well, I mean, because
Shadow Catbacks.
Yeah. It's Sam Jones here. I'm going to message it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very interesting lighting scheme. But go ahead. Sorry.
Anyway, well, so if anybody, obviously, if you're a Marvel fan, she also did the costumes for Thor Ragnarok, which, being a non-comic book person, that was probably my favorite movie. I just loved it. And she also did Jojo Rabbit, which you and I have talked about.
Love it. It's such a good movie.
So she's she's a very, very experienced costume designer. And this is another thing I was saying, just in terms of production design, costume design, hair, makeup, everything, directing, it's top notch. Like, as soon as I saw the first episode, I'm like, wow, whoever is doing this is very high end. And so we've been seeing a lot of that. We've been seeing a lot of costume designers who've come from film and are working in TV now that are doing extraordinary work. I think it's really raising the bar on television, and we're starting to see, just much higher budgets. And I think Disney, because even with The Mandalorian, they've done some incredible work there. So they have decided that they're going to be kind of maybe the next HBO, that they're going to be, on par with anything you might see in a movie theater.
And they're taking advantage of the long story form, medium, meaning they usually have to flesh out like a lot of overarching plot threads through multiple movies, which they do very well. That's kind of what sets them apart from DC. Is DC does, I believe, a lot better when they just do individual isolated story rather than trying to make a universe in an attempt to catch up and copy what Marvel did in response to the greatness they had. I think it's like, wear the hat that best suits you. That's why I always wear just one hat. Yeah, fun fact. But no, I think that, yeah, definitely. I think her versatility has to be there, right? Because she's able to go throughout in these actors as well. Elizabeth and, you
Paul.
have Paul is,
by the way, who's hilarious. I was reading this interview with him today. He's just so funny. He was talking about this thing called Snotgate. Have you heard about this?
No.
So apparently during the filming, they were doing a love scene and someone got snot on one or the other and they both blamed each other. And Paul Bettany said, "Don't listen to Elizabeth Olsen. She's a bold-faced liar," or something. It's just so funny. And she said, "No, it was his. He's got that appliance on his face. He can't feel anything. And he wouldn't even know if he had snot on his face. So it was definitely his." So the two of them obviously have some really fantastic chemistry. He said that's the only time they've ever fought. They get along swimmingly. And he's, of course, got that British charm. So
yeah, and he I just rewatched because besides Black Sails, there's really only one tall ship series or film or story that really holds up as far as like realism, and I'm a big fan of like naval battles. He in Master and Commander with Russell Crowe, he plays the Doctor. He's the
yeah. Oh, absolutely. And he's in A Knight's Tale. He plays the squire or what have you, the guy who gets in trouble.
Is he the guy? He's not the jester. No, that's
no, there's Mark Addy is in it and as well. And he plays the squire, the one who's like, "I present to you the knight, I pray thee," or whatever he says. I can't remember.
I'm trying to share the color scheme right now. I don't know if
I can share it.
There, you see that color scheme?
Mm-hmm.
That's how he does his whole show. And he just actually had Elizabeth on.
Oh, I haven't seen this.
This is very good. He's a photographer and he does some very good interviews. And I'm sorry for going off topic, but I love it. I've tried to make this void. It's almost like a void, right?
Yeah.
Behind them. And if you get a wide shot, which we won't waste our time, or I won't waste your time doing it, this actually, the center panel is a little bit different. It's a little bit lighter, and those are a little bit darker. You can't really see it there. But it's a very interesting color scheme. It feels very organic, and they're very organic conversations, just showing you how much, the cinematography and the lighting can really add to the atmosphere, but also the actual vibe of the conversation and sentiment.
Yeah, no, it's very nice. And I also like the font that he used there. Justin, I just want to show you, here's some of the costumes here. Oh, by the way, I'm wearing red. So you guys have probably noticed that Wanda wears a lot of red. Even, in the first two episodes, she doesn't, because she's, what was it that Maya said? She said here, let me just check here. She said, we started in black and white. So obviously we know that. So we learned a lot about shooting in black and white, especially with gray tones. What tones of gray are the ones that are going to translate into real colors, vice versa? What colors are going to translate into grays and blacks and whites? So she's talking about like reversing it, like both, which way it would go either way. whether it's black and white to color or color to black and white. And she says, we learned about a lot about red and gold, and they become gray. So that was one of the things that I guess they had happen. And I think probably what she might be speaking of is, let me just get the picture here, because this is obviously a big moment. Let me just pull it up here. Is this outfit here. So,
I mean, how many color tones? I'm colorblind, but I see at least 4 different tones here, right?
Yeah. So so here, this is shot in, again, it's shot in black and white, but they're wearing colored outfits, right? So, this obviously there's a plot reason for that. So here they're wearing it's shot in black and white, but then it starts to turn to color, and the colors that are appearing are actually what they're wearing. So like here in this scene, you can see what his sweater actually looks like, and you can see what her outfit actually looks like. It's actually red. So that's why it's so interesting. So it's interesting because, like, for instance, her sweater here, which is red, actually looks almost like a dark gray.
And I'm very colorblind. I was gonna say green. Infertility, green, goes together. But
yeah,
again,
but she's it's actually a red.
Oh, absolutely.
And then the part underneath it, which is sort of this other, do I have another picture of it here? It's actually kind of like a top, or maybe it's a top, because she's wearing over little pants, is actually like a light red. So, but it looks quite a bit brighter here. So it's really, really interesting how it translated. So that was very challenging. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to tell you, which was a very cool fact, I just found out this today. Where is it here? Okay, when shooting scenes in black and white, Bettany was painted blue rather than Vision's maroon color, since the blue appeared better in the grayscale image. So he's actually wearing blue. Kind of like Blue Man Group.
That's what's fascinating to me.
Isn't that fascinating? So the red the red fabric worked okay, but the maroon red makeup did not work. So they had to make some adjustments. It's funny because in the old days, they used to do camera tests, and they used to do, in fact, a lot of times when I'm researching costumes or makeup or what have you, they'll show these photos of the movie star in their outfit, and it'll have a little slate at the bottom saying makeup test or wardrobe test. And so they must have had to do that for that very reason, because it's not going to look like how it would look. So I thought that was really interesting. Unfortunately, I didn't find a picture of him wearing it. So
yeah, but no, I like that. I mean, I remember in telecommunications, when I went to school for production, we used to have to actually hold up not just whiteboards, but color boards.
Yeah.
What you see when it goes, like, back in the day. None of you youngsters will see this, but I used to do the test, and it'd be like the color scheme, right? It'd be like the green, red, blue, yellow. It would be like the bars. Like NBC would do it like 2:00 in the morning in like the early 90s. And we would go in front of the camera, and we would calibrate accordingly. So, I mean, more than anybody that you mess with lighting, you mess with everything. You adjust one light, you've just thrown everything off if you over adjust or under adjust. So I think it's it really is something to be appreciated, but also you don't need to be a production enthusiast or a what is it called, a cinephile, which I really hardly advocate against anything with file at the end of it. You know what I mean? Terrible marketing.
What about a nail file? Are you okay with that?
Nope, I'm just gonna steer clear of files all the way. I mean, you know what I mean?
What about the X files?
All of them.
No files. I'm gonna get you a T-shirt that says that.
I killed a
file-free zone.
I beat a file to death is the only thing that I ever want to come out of my you know what I mean? That you want to stay clear of those. But no, I think it's a fascinating, and it takes so much too for a lot of things that go unnoticed, right? But unnoticed consciously, but not subconsciously. And that is where they really chime in on this effect and this birth of storytelling and the evolution of storytelling, going from black and white to color, to dealing with more, pushing the bed together so the husband and wife can be less.
I have a picture of that.
Yeah, right here. Yeah. Like all of these conventions are not only conveyed in story, but they're conveyed in the way it's shot, in the color scheme and in the costuming. You know, this is one man doesn't make an army, right? You know what I mean? Like it takes many, many people to make this work, and many in the evolution of storytelling through the medium of television has evolved, exponentially. And it's fascinating.
The other thing I was I wanted to mention. So when we were talking about the first episode, going back to that, is it was shot in front of a live audience. So that created quite a bit of a challenge in that everything had to be practical. So like these scenes here, which they apparently used a lot of the things they would have used in like Bewitched or what have you. They actually had these items floating on wires. So that was kind of cool.
Oh, yeah, they went old school with it. They actually
they did so they did practical but also just even like, and if I know, Justin, you've done theater, they would have also have had to do scene changes and actors like, leaving the scene, like going out a door and then having to run around and then go to the other door or what have you, like a lot of practical stuff in front of the audience. But apparently the audience were like friends and family of the cast and the crew, so they were supportive.
What do you call that? Is it a buffer? It is a stand-up comedian that works during the day, and you can get a job at a lot of studios for like back in the day when I'm getting old now, but like Ricky Lake or anything like that. No. When I was helping with like writing stand-up at Second City, I forget what they call this position, but you go out in between what you're talking about and you like hand out Kit Kat bars, but you do jokes. You're like, this lady is having a good time. Don't
like the warm up act.
But it's not just a warm up. It's like the intermediate, like, you know what I mean? Like there's a word
audience. If there's an audience, a person who gets the audience kind of like,
yeah. Like
I have a friend who does that actually.
It's a good gig because it's like, it's only daytime gig you can get that's like steady. You could do it for the Martha Stewart show back in the day. I'm sure they still did it up until recently, probably, with studio audiences. But you'd go out there and be like, who's having a good time? Everybody is. Fellas having a good time. Blah, blah, blah. Here's a Kit Kat bar.
Get them kind of like excited.
Jubilant.
Yeah.
Jubilant.
But the one thing I don't know how long it took them to do. What if I'm assuming it would have taken a long time
to switch the are they on a rotating, is it a rotating stage like SNL or no?
No, I don't think so. I think it's like sort of like theater where it was a sound stage and they had like the sets were in the different zones. You know what I mean?
Bunch of nerds come out in black and push everything around. Yeah.
Hi, Kiki.
He's here. Yeah. No, yeah, it's but I mean, I love it. I love it for that because it reminds me, and I hope other people could appreciate that. I know my mom, she was the one that told me about Dick Van Dyke, and she also is the one that pointed out I Love Lucy, because I messaged her because like I like to go and see films with her and try to like keep that connection like as we were a kid. And we went and saw like there's very few films I go and see in the theater, right? So like I went and saw Infinity War, the final one. Now she didn't give a crap about that, but it was one of the months back in the day in which we decided to get together to have lunch and go see a film, right? And it's I'll go see something for her, she'll go see something for me, and she'll try to be invested in it. And I called her, I'm like, listen, I think you'll really like this series because it's just like, Nick at Night for me as a kid, and this is kind of your childhood consumption of story. And she really enjoyed it. So it is a very it's a vigorous and a very ambitious feat for them to carry out.
So here's just a shot I got of I Love Lucy, and then here's one of the Dick Van Dyke Show, which you can see there's that ottoman.
He trips over that.
That he trips over.
Who is she? She is.
With that bay window. There's Mary Tyler Moore. Apparently Elizabeth Olsen said she based her character a lot on Mary Tyler Moore. Because Mary Tyler Moore wasn't just on the Dick Van Dyke Show, but she was on her own show as well.
The Mary Tyler Moore Show.
And Mary Tyler Moore was a producer on the Mary Tyler Moore Show. So that was actually a very progressive.
How many angry old white men got mad about that? They're like, oh, so let's give some props to Mary. I'm sure that didn't go over swimmingly, to be fair. So I mean, good for her. She'd
be like, oh, Mr. Grant.
Yeah, like the early Weinsteins of the day got it shoved to them. Good for you, Mary. Do it for the cause. But what I liked about it too is the Shutter. That's why I sent you the digital tour of I Love Lucy.
Oh, that was so fun.
Because
I love that.
Because the opening up of that, like, who the hell has shutters
Yeah.
but multiple shows at this time period.
You know what?
Have
I've
those.
been in houses with those. I've been in houses. Those are there. There's a name for it. It's a pass through, or as someone in the chat probably knows. But what it would be like, you would serve food in from the kitchen, and you would pass it through to the dining room.
Yeah, it would be like how you expedite. I've been a waiter at like many places, like, you know, to the staff and so forth. But I think that what it's used for in these series is for comedic effect, right?
It's for comedic effect, exactly. Yeah,
everything's fine. Everything's doozy, okay? 23 back hats, get it do, you know, like all this nonsense. But yeah, they definitely have these like these odd dividers, like between the dining room and the living room, and this ideal entertaining atmosphere, right? That like somebody, and there's chaos happening just beyond those shutters.
Yeah, here it is. Here. So there's the shutters there. At one point, they open. Does he open them up, and then she's in there like doing her
magic, which
her
part?
Magic,
why is her hand disconnected? Grotesque.
Oh my god, I don't know.
What?
I didn't even notice that.
No, it's the box, and it's her.
It's the box
in her bracelet.
Oh my god,
in her bracelet.
That's like a really that
right?
is so freaky. I just noticed that. The other thing is, apparently they tried to get her to wiggle her nose like Elizabeth Montgomery, but she couldn't do it. So they added the hand thing instead, which I think actually Elizabeth Montgomery did that as well. Sometimes I think if she had to do something super quickly.
Those are known as the cocaine twitches. Robert Downey Jr. used to have them a lot. So yeah. She usually, well, I'm not doing massive amounts of cocaine, so I can't do it. But no, oh my god, yeah, that's a bracelet in that pot. That is so
funny. Yeah. So those are the door. Yeah. So I've been in houses that have had those. And so there's a counter, and then you would put, the food across, rather than having to come around and having to, in fact, I used to live in this other house when I was like, oh, you know what? I'd love to carve out a hole here, and then I could just pass the food through, because having to go all the way around was a drag. So there was a banquet. It might've been a banquet. I think there was a name for it.
Yeah, but also, as story goes with times and stays to convention, so did architecture, right? Like, meaning that my dining room in the house I grew up with was connected to my living room, because cooking was not an isolated event for my mom. You know what I mean? We're progressive.
Derek says it might be called a serving hatch. That sounds right.
Sounds right. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah,
serving hatch.
Dumb waiters, the whole thing. But get what I mean? Like you have an evolution of philosophy and culture, and you move forward where you don't need to ignore the wife that's doing the dishes or cooking. It's like everybody's a part of it, and they start to evolve to that, because that's what a family becomes. And you see this not only in architecture, but you see this in the color scheme. You see this in the way in which things are positioned, and the isolation is less there. Like, does Darcy make a joke? She says, oh, you see her once an episode washing the dishes. Right? Yeah. That's just kind of what I'm talking about.
That's like true. Yes.
Yeah. I'm not a virtue signaling guy whatsoever, but I think that it's good that you see that progressive, approach to storytelling throughout the years, even in the early days, because the separation of who's cooking your meal, and you don't want to be bothered with that. Drink scotch and have a cigar when your wife cooks it. You know what I mean? Isn't really the best message. But it does work for comedy as well.
Justin, before we move past the 50s, the black and white, I just wanted to say that, so one of the things that the costume designer said is that the suit Vision wears here, like in this scene, and the wedding dress we made for Wanda for the opening titles were my favorite creations. She said those were her favorite from the episode. They were both made from scratch, and Paul loved the suit and tie so much he was sad it couldn't be used for the whole episode. And she says that Wanda's dress was a beautiful homage to Audrey Hepburn. So I have actually a picture of what I think is here. Here's Audrey Hepburn wearing this dress in Funny Face, which was designed by Givenchy, who did a lot of her costumes for a lot of the movies.
How petite is Aubrey?
So tiny. She was a ballet dancer. But I know, look at that waist. Is that not redonkulous?
I got to think it's unhealthy.
Well, she's probably wearing a bit of a corset, but still.
Yeah.
She was a ballet dancer. A lot of ballet dancers are super slim. She is here with Fred Astaire. He was really skinny, by the way, really lanky as well.
They all are. They all look gaunt.
Yeah. Gaunt. Yeah. So that's what her wedding dress was sort of based off of. I love the veil and the bow, that's sort of, again, very Audrey Hepburn. So,
She is beautiful though. Elizabeth Olsen. I mean,
oh
she
my
is
God,
stunning. She has a
she
stunning
is.
smile and she is very charismatic. And I think that the contrast with her playing the rundown housewife, the parody on that, or homage per se, in
Yeah.
the last episode, she is so versatile and she is such a charming performer.
She is. It's funny because I was mentioning to you before, I've seen all the Marvel movies, but I'd be like, I remember one time I was like, who's Bucky? Like I was telling this to Tony Teflon the other day that I'd be like hard pressed to tell you a storyline. And I have to say, with her character, I was always like, oh, I don't know about Elizabeth Olsen. Like, I haven't really seen much range from her, in my humble opinion, just because nothing had stood out to me that much compared to, say, someone like Tony Stark. So, but after seeing her in this, I think she's a marvelous actress. I think does a really great job. And I think they're both good together. Paul Bettany, I love him. I've always loved him. So he's also in A Beautiful Mind, by the way. That's another great movie for him.
Well, is Russell Crowe in it? He's like
Russell Crowe's in it.
Yeah, he's
they
all
go
on
together that. like peas in a pod, or I don't know.
Master and Commander, watch
Master and Commander. They're great together, of course. Yeah, and
but
also Ed Harris is in it. The great Ed Harris, who we both love.
Okay.
Westworld.
Okay. As long as you tell me I love him, I love him.
You do. You love Wes. We've talked about him lots of times.
Never seen it.
What show from the 70s? That movie from the 70s, Westworld? I don't know anything about it.
Yeah. Now I'm in your created world, and I'm
trying. By the way, I know Maya's her favorite was the wedding dress. I love this costume. I thought this was so fabulous. Of course, there's this the whole. It's very Shakespearean. Like, there's this mistaken, what's supposed to happen. She thinks they're supposed to be having a romantic evening. He thinks he's bringing the husband home, or the boss home for dinner, and she shows up wearing this amazing negligee, which is so fantastic.
Classic miscommunication. See,
it is. It's very Shakespearean. It's very
yeah.
That's what.
Oh, today is a special day. It is a special day indeed, and we should do special things for this special day. I'm like, can we be clear?
Yeah. By the way, I read something about there being in the 70s section, that there being a little bit of a nod to that 70s show. So of course the actress who's here, I just thought this now, she's in that 70s show. She's the mom.
She is the mother. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of great. So again, you can see their color that they're wearing. She's wearing actually a sort of a royal blue, a kind of a deep blue. So which looked totally different in black and white.
What's up with that boarding? What was you paneling on the?
Yeah, it's pretty awful. It is. It's paneling.
Yeah, they're like
floating shelves. We had stuff like that in our basement. My dad renovated our basement. It looked like that.
Because it's like, hey, what do we usually put on the floor? They're like, we'll put it on the wall.
Yeah,
here we
exactly.
Go.
It does look like, it's funny. Years ago, I went to a friend's house and they had their walls carpeted.
I mean, I don't want to be a dick.
I'm not even joking.
I don't want to be a dick here, but are they insane people?
It was crazy. It was from the 70s. It was they had bench seating, and then so the benches were covered in carpeting, and then they just kept going with it.
You're
you just felt like you're in I don't know. It was very 70s. It was like one of those sunken living room type things, I guess.
Stop me now. Having such a good time. I'm carpeting the wall.
Some design stuff.
Yeah, I looked at a magazine.
Oh, me too,
time.
Adrian.
Yeah.
Adrian's okay. So then we're going into the 60s, which is, I'm going by what the showrunners have said. It's like Bewitched, I Dream a Genie. There's Bewitched. Now, this is a show I did watch when I was a kid.
I did. Yeah, I watched the Will Ferrell, Nicole Kidman one. I watched a lot of Nick at Night,
which is very close.
Oh yeah, it was terrible, but it is close. I think the first one had a lot more charisma and a lot more appeal.
Well, Elizabeth Montgomery was amazing, and there were two Darrens. They changed the casting on him I think after the first 6 months, and then. But it's funny because her mother reminds me a lot of. Actually of what's her name, like Agatha Harkness. She reminds me kind of her name's even Agatha.
Look at those pants on that guy. Look at that guy in the front.
That's
What is,
hard. That's this
did
guy
he
is really famous actually. But I can't remember his name. Maybe someone in the chat will remember his name.
did he just
Is
go
it
to
Paul Lind, I think?
Wanda?
I think
Is
it's
it
Paul Lind.
Yeah, but here is it looks like he just had like some sort of like that looks like you were
They're
just like
swans.
the road to Bombay, right? Like I mean like that's some like I mean
And this-
I'm all for culture, but is that really correct there, pal? Or
And
do you
this
just-
guy here, this other guy here is wearing like a morning suit, like he's going to a wedding or something.
well
I don't know
that's
what's
fine for him. He's a stuck-up nasty.
But there's
man.
there's sorry guys, I'm trying to figure out how to use this tool here. There's her mother, Agatha.
Too many beads.
Yeah, so her name is Agatha, which I thought is really interesting that it's oh, I haven't seen the Nevers. No, I will watch it. Yeah, her name is also Agatha.
What's the bead count, do you think, on that? I'd say 80 at least.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
many.
Her mother is supposed to be, she's supposed to be like the mother from the Flintstones. Like she's really the annoying mother-in-law, and everything is completely over the top because she's like a witch as well. That's where, she's a family of witches. So she's constantly causing trouble for her daughter, who's trying to sort of fit into a normal life. And Darren actually doesn't want her doing magic, which I think they actually do that in WandaVision, where he doesn't want his wife using magic for I'm like, if you can do household chores with magic, why wouldn't you let them use magic for that?
Because you do God's work and it brings you closer to God. That's why, Heidi.
Paul Lind circle gets a square.
Paul Lind, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. That's a Hollywood
it would help if she didn't dress like that, because I've seen monkeys in the same outfit, to be fair. Like, that's a bad outfit. Like, you know what I mean? With a little hat and all that. Like, you are clearly a witch if you're wearing something like that.
She's a genie.
Fair enough.
Genie is a genie. She's not a witch.
Okay,
Samantha's a witch.
Equally
You've got the shows mixed up.
Okay,
Samantha
but I'm just saying,
witch.
if you're trying to blend in,
she's trying to blend in. No,
yeah.
Genie is not trying to blend in. Genie is a genie. So, it's so funny because, like, I used to watch this show, and then Larry Hagman, who plays the dashing, commander, goes on to do Dallas, and he plays like this super evil villain, whereas here he's really sweet and charming.
Yeah, and then it wakes up and it's all a dream. F you, viewers.
So anyway, so that's what this episode is based on. So I was just going to for this episode, my absolute favorite costume is let me find it here. This one here. Oh my God, I love it so much. This bodysuit that she's wearing, which is really in IRL is red. Can you believe it?
I mean, I wish I could see more or less, more. You know what I mean?
But
like a good suit.
That is fantastic. Well, she's got a lovely little figure. Am I allowed to say that?
I'm happy you did and I didn't. But yes,
I can say that because I'm a woman. No, she does. She has a lovely little figure, and it's funny because she works really
skeleton,
well.
It's like skeleton stripes, right? Like it's like fishbone. It looks like the ribs.
It is. It's boned for sure. And it's got so what it is, they've built like these sequins on top of a sheer, panel. But gorgeous, just gorgeous. Love it so much.
She's in a film with Josh Brolin, in which, in which he doesn't make her kill anybody. It goes to
my apologies, Derek. Derek says sorry, the actress is Agnes. It was actually Endora's the mom's name. So I got that wrong. Yeah. Apologies. You never want to get facts from me. Unless I'm doing a recorded video, and then hopefully I'm correct. But if I'm just telling you off the top of my head, I wouldn't rely on anything I say. I'm kind of like an unreliable narrator. Is that what they say?
Well, yeah, but that's for you to go and do further investigation to what Heidi says, and that's the value of her content. So you're welcome.
So here again, her gloves here look black, but actually they're red. So it's really, really interesting. Or they're kind of a dark red. They're the same color as Vision.
I feel like you're just trying to expose my color blindness here, because it all to me just looks like I just see red. I get what you're saying; they're slightly off, but I can't. It's amazing to me the tonal shift when you put it in black and white, right? You know, like how things look like
Yes.
to like what they really are. It really is like the science of storytelling. They talk about Russians actually can see two different shapes of blue that most Westerners can't, and that's a fact.
Yeah.
Like, and that's insane to me. I'm like, I can't tell blue from green. I'm like, I don't know. So
Angel Lover says that it reminds her of Playboy, and I actually would say yes. And I think the reason being is that it's very boned, and a Playboy bunny, I've seen the inside of them. They are very, very boned. So it would be like a boned mallet or, you know, bodysuit that would then be covered with satin. So this is just like, so I would say likely that within all of these little stripes we see, there's probably boning in there that's giving it that really rigid.
You're in Playboy, you know, hue. There's definitely boning in there. So.
No, that's a different type of boning.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, my bad.
And yeah, I'm talking about the ones that work at the clubs, you know, with the ears.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah.
And the little tail, the little. But by the way, my parents, they went to a bunny club. I have a picture. I have to find it. I have a picture of my parents at a bunny club. And the one thing I remember my mom telling me is that that they were not allowed to bend over. They had to kind of like, so when they went to serve you a drink, they had to actually kind of just dip down.
Yeah, curtsy almost.
Curtsy. Yeah. So they weren't allowed to do this. So that their cleavage would all kind of fall out. It was exactly.
It's a 5-finger carry.
Yes.
And you want to go down.
So, and when you would go to the club, you could get a picture taken with one of the bunnies. And so my parents got a picture taken with one of the bunnies.
And that was the night you were conceived.
Angel Lover says she doesn't want to talk about that Josh Brolin movie.
Yeah, I don't know which one it is.
It's 2 hours. She said she can't get back.
That is true. Times the one irredeemable aspect.
By the way, you know what? I'm going to mention it in your stream, but I just watched such a great movie. It's actually a family movie. It has nothing to do with anything we're talking about right now. But it was like, it got like over 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. It was The Boy Who Would Be King. It's about King Arthur.
Oh, so
it's oh my God, it was so good. I watched it last night with my kids. Great movie. Anyone wants to see it? Highly recommend it.
Do you recommend it for just adult viewing? I know, I'm aware of it.
Oh, no, you totally is an adult. I loved it. Patrick Stewart's in it. Rebecca Ferguson's in it. She's
Rebecca, the White Queen. I love her.
Yeah, she's going to be in Dune, and she was in
coming out in 2031.
Yeah. Well, we'll be lucky if we see it in a decade.
Yeah, it's like
those French Canadians. They take their sweet ass time. No, actually, I can't blame him. It's the studio.
It's one of those few times I wish I had kids.
He's pretty angry.
I'd be like, okay, yeah, but like maybe they'll see it. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. 30 days. Okay, so back on topic. 30 days is my tangent monitor. So let's move along, shall we?
Sounds like a rehab center.
Here's a picture of Agnes. There's Agatha. What's her name again? I forgot.
Well, it is. I think it's Agnes. Now she comes from the lore, and she obviously is. A witch of Salem, or a witch within New Jersey. And I believe Salem is within New Jersey, right?
So I just wanted to, so here's her outfit in black and white, and then there it is in color. So again, you can sort of see the, her green sweater looks gray, and then her dress is black and gray, which it actually is, but there's a little bit of red in it. So
such a very talented and wide-ranging actress as well. Same thing, she was in Step Brothers. She was in Parks and Recreation.
She's so good.
She is so good. They have a lot of talent on this staff.
Yeah, I love it because it's actually a very small cast. I know there's lots of there's lots of extras and stuff, but the core cast is actually fairly small, I think. And I like that there's a lot of women as well. That's the other thing I really like, that we have a larger female contingent in that.
All the guys don't know what's going on too. Like they don't know what's happening. It's actually a fact, except for what's his name from he was in Veep, and then he was in Ant-Man. Yep. He's one of the detectives. Like he's there with Darcy. He is like one of the main in him, and but Vision knows very little. He's trying to figure it out. But yeah, the women, as always, men, we don't know what we got wrong. Yeah, like
Yeah.
we're confused all the time.
And there, oh, hey, Asen. Hi, Asen's here. And then, of course, here's Monica with her.
So now she played a character in Captain Marvel. Not her, but there was a little girl that
yes,
she is supposed to be. So this is another example of them using this for a pretty much would be considered a B plot thread in a feature film, but to highlight her interaction with Wanda and get us to our Doctor Strange movie, which I think is brilliant.
And when's that coming out?
I didn't know that fact. Yeah, but probably in the next 2 years.
Yeah, I know.
I'll look it up.
Expect any movie anytime soon, folks. I'm noticing a lot of the movie reviewers are now moved to TV. Have you noticed that?
Oh, I did.
Yeah, I don't know if you watch any movie reviews. A lot of them are moving to TV because they're like, "What's the point?" Like, you know.
I find it to be fascinating, to be honest with you. And I talked to you briefly about contacting somebody to talk about COVID production, because we have the House of the Dragon coming up this filming in 3 different locations, and they need to keep it within a bubble to keep that consistent. And how this is going, we are going to have a era of television in film in which in the future, just hypothetically, that we don't blow each other up or we don't all die from a plague, we will look at as the COVID era films. And
yes,
this will be it. This will be it.
Yeah, like I just watched Greenland. With
which is like, what's his name?
It was great. I loved it.
Isn't that with what's his name? He was in the
he's in 300.
Gerard Butler.
Gerard Butler, a very old looking. I don't know what's going on with him. Maybe he's been drinking a lot, but he looks very old.
HGH and booze. I mean, he did a whole bunch of steroids. And
anyway, yeah. But disaster movies are hot, super hot right now. By the way, so I just have to say, these glasses that Paul Bettany's wearing here cracked me right up. And I saw him doing an interview where he was wearing these glasses. So I think he ended up taking them.
Is he attractive? Is he an attractive guy? It's hard.
He is. Actually, it was funny. Someone said on social media, because he's 49, right? He's not, he's a little, he's kind of, he's moving into the George Clooney years.
But not everybody Clooney's. You know what I mean?
Not everybody Clooney's. George is going to have his tipping point. It happened with Harrison Ford. I hate to warn you folks, but it's going to happen.
Put in my earring. I want to fly an old airplane and smoke weed.
But someone said, "Is it wrong that I find Paul Bettany so hot?" It might even have been Asun. I'm not even sure. Asun, tell me if it was you. She says he totally is.
Well, I'm actually, because I think he's a good-looking guy, and I mentioned him in the chat, and when Tony and Phil were talking, they said something about his body. I was like, I wish I had his body, because he's actually in pretty decent shape. He's kind of a lanky guy like me, you know what I mean? And he's older than me, so I mean, it's like, come on.
He's tall like you. He's tall. He's well over 6 feet.
Well, I'm only 6 foot, but like,
he's married to Jennifer Connelly. They've been happily married for many years.
Oh, sold.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's a good outlook for me.
He is hot for sure. Like, look how cute he is here. And it's funny because I just did The Shining. I'm doing The Shining Part 2 coming soon, but I've been looking at these 1970s sort of Harris tweed type jackets, and this jacket he's wearing is almost exactly like the one that Jack Nicholson wore in The Shining during his interview. So, or actually, yeah, is it during his interview? No, it's when they come to the hotel when he takes the job, and I was like, oh my god, he looks just like Jack Nicholson's outfit there. So
I'm so glad I didn't wear a blazer, because this style has come back. Like, I wear blazers with
t-shirts. It is back.
I got this very, very vibrant blue one that I ordered. And it doesn't look as good as I thought it would, but I'm very disappointed. But yeah, no, that's a good look.
It's funny because like, this one cracks me right up. Oh my god, I think this must have been from the opening.
Yeah, it was.
But they have to wear wigs too, right? Because Paul Bettany actually has short hair, and it's funny because Elizabeth Olsen does have long hair, but I'm pretty sure she's wearing a wig here. So what I was going to tell you about this is her hair. I saw this in a video. I'm not sure if it's true. They said that it was based on what's her name from the
this is like a Partridge Family take, so it's like
I kind of thought, sorry, I've lost my thing here. Here we go.
You got Marsha right there, and then you've got
I thought it was kind of a Marsha.
Yeah.
someone said it was Laura Prepon or whatever her real name or her name, Donna. It was Donna from that 70s show.
I think
Kind of that
again,
auburn color.
yeah. Again, you're grabbing from just as we saw Arrested Development with one of the last episodes, the last episode, that you're seeing inspirations and they're pulling from all. Man, I love that staircase coming down every day.
Okay. When I saw the set, the thing I loved the most was the floating staircase. And if anybody never watched the Brady Bunch, the dad was an architect, so the house was supposed to be, quite fashion or what is it, artistically forward, design forward. It was supposed to be very modern looking. So I love that.
It's a terrible home.
What's that?
It's a tri-level.
Tri-level.
Yeah, it's one of those that it looks like a ranch from the outside, but it has.
I don't think it matches. Actually, I don't think the house matches the inside.
Oh, not at all. It's a terrible. I believe.
But if you watch design videos like this type of thing here, this molding thing, that is totally hot right now. That is so hot in design.
What is old is new again.
It is.
Yeah. Look at Greg. He's like, I get it all figured out. No, you didn't.
And he's wearing orange. Like, that is rad.
What a dick.
I always thought Peter was cute. I thought he was the cutest.
Yeah. I mean, I liked Alice and Sam.
What a dick.
Yeah, but I mean, he's a dick.
Here is my heart. David Cassidy. Oh, yeah. Like, look at that center part. Featherback hair. That's totally hot. And you know that Shirley Jones was his stepmother.
There's all this weird, I don't want to get into it, but it's like these sons and daughters, so
Susan Day, you could say her hair is, you got the straight center part Susan Day kind of hairstyle, or Marsha Brady, what's
going on with what's her face in the back? They just didn't give a shit.
I laughed at the kids because I was like, okay, did they not even bother? She just got out of bed and they were like, we got to get this picture done. And then look at this one here. That's
Danny Bonaducci,
Who
right?
cut that hair? Well, yeah, I know Danny Bonaducci for sure. But the blonde one?
Nobody cut it.
Who cut that hair?
Him on glue. And then these other kids look terrible. And then they're like, what's best for the background? Like a putrid yellow.
Yeah. I actually love them. I love both David and Sean Cassidy. Sean Cassidy. Oh my God, my heart.
She looks unhappy too, for what it's worth. She looks very unhappy, whoever that daughter is.
Yeah, she's just like, I just got out of bed. No one gave me a smoothie. I am expected to do a photo shoot.
She's like, they shoved a bunch of barbiturates down my throat, and now here I am.
No, that's Judy Garland. I don't think they did barbiturates.
Oh, fair enough. Whatever. Yeah, I don't want any lawsuits.
Yeah, that's the 60s.
Probably did it though. Just so you know.
Anyway, so
mustard yellow for the background will be.
I love it. I don't know. You know what? That might have been cut out. I don't know. I just found it online. So don't trust anything you find online. And then of course we have Mary Tyler Moore.
So many bald men, which makes me happy. You know what I mean?
You know what? Murray made bald sexy. And this is before the Love Boat. Like, look at that. Look at that smolder.
I don't
look at that blue steel.
He looks like a predator. I don't trust him. Look at his eyes. He's everybody else is putting on a smile. He's looking at that cameraman like, I'm gonna get
Mr. Grant.
Look at him. He's like, I'm up for some, lawsuits.
Yeah, I think actually my spirit animal is Rhoda. She's my spirit.
For what it's worth, she looks very shady as well. Yeah.
It's just, I know.
That's
so
a
great.
Good man. That's a good man, though.
And of course, Cloris Leachman, by the way, she just passed away like not too long ago, like a couple of weeks ago. So
that shit. Look at her hair. That's beautiful. Look at it.
It is, Phyllis. Yeah, she had her own spin-off show as well. So so those are the inspirations. By the way, okay, so back to my Shining. I was talking about The Shining. It was funny because I was watching this review on The Shining, and they're saying, Shelley Duvall dressed up like kind of like a little girl in it, like her outfit, her first outfit, which is here. That's Shelley Duvall's first outfit in The Shining when the therapist comes over. And then I was laughing because I'm like, look at Elizabeth Olsen's outfit. It's kind of the same. It's sort of like a little girl's, very 1970s. But it was funny because when I was going through the costumes of The Shining, I found this Sears 1977 catalog that they got a lot of costumes out of. And I went through and they would have worn these like really weird kind of like pinafore type dresses, sort of this type of thing. Almost like it was kind of like a house dress. And I'm not sure why it's so short. Like maybe she's wearing little shorts underneath it, and primary colors were really big then. So
yeah, it's very festive.
it's
Everything's
festive.
very festive. Like everything's like, hey, what do you want to wear today? It's like something that really, really stands out. Like if I walked into the bank wearing that pattern, female or male, the people are like, what the hell are you doing to prove there,
Yeah.
buddy? Yeah. I'm like, well.
And that swing set out in the backyard is very Brady Bunch.
With the AstroTurf, yeah.
Yeah, with the AstroTurf, exactly. Because it would have all been filmed in a studio, right?
Oh, well, yeah, it would have been filmed in a studio, and then you would have had the dog out there, and you would have had all the terrible too.
Oh, thanks, Jess. I was going to say, so here is Wanda being very lazy, using her magic to vacuum rather than, using her, her, super lazy. She's reading a magazine.
Okay, but is that lazy? She's using her magic to control the vacuum cleaner. If she is magic, why can't she just manipulate the floor to not be dirty?
Exactly. I don't know. It's just
keeping up appearances.
It's 1970s reasoning.
It's keeping up appearances, I guess. But
it's keeping up appearances in case one of the nosy neighbors peeks in the window, like they would do.
Did you notice that they continuously keep not caring? At first, it's all about hiding their powers. Now their powers are very overt. So,
that's a very good point. Actually, that's a very good point. So as they go along, they're not as worried about keeping up appearances. It's sort of like as the onion starts to unravel and the layers peel away, sort of thing. Yeah, Angel Lover said, well, yeah, she had the vacuum. Might as well use it.
That can't have enough power to get through that tube. I used to clean carpets when I was in my early 20s. Honestly, that vacuum probably does not have the function. I'm not going to get into it, but it probably doesn't have it. It's not reliable.
I have a note about her outfit here. Do you mind if I tell you?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So what did she say here? I found this in an interview she talked about. I just have to find it. Okay. So she said, when we did Lizzie's pregnancy dress, I used a period fabric. So this is actually a period fabric, but there were only 30 meters there. So that was it. So we had to make it work. And now, obviously, there wouldn't be 30 meters that would go into this dress, but that she probably had to make multiple versions. So she did this sort of split front here where they could add another fabric in there.
What is he checking for there?
He's checking for the heartbeat of the baby.
He's like, that's a stomach. I've confirmed it.
Guys, well, he's just a TV doctor. Yeah. He just plays a doctor on television. He's not a real doctor.
He's like, let me come over and put this on your wife there.
Well, it was the same when she gives birth to the babies, I'm like, okay, I don't think there's anything there that's anywhere accurate.
No. Yeah.
Let me as someone who's had two children.
Had a few scotches. Let me put this thing up to her stomach.
By the way, I don't know if this is intentional. Just going to point this out. But Paul Bettany here, his collar, I was like, is this done on purpose? His collar, it was always one sticking out, one sticking in. So I don't know if that was intentional. I don't know if
I can speak to this because I've worn many of cardigans, and I will tell you that you always want to play it a little bit loose. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's like a mullet, right? But
sure.
So that's business right there.
Yep.
And then he's a little bit unruly. He's a little bit festive. He's getting it going on. You know what I mean? Look at his hair. It's terrible. And everything else. Oh man, why these earthy colors in the 70s?
I love these colors.
I hate them. Go be a gardener. Get away.
I love that they mix the denims with the gold and all that. Yeah. You know, it's funny though, but the thing that cracks me up, Justin, is the dark denim jeans that he's wearing with it. Like here, it looks like he's wearing dark denim. But I noticed they use this teal color a lot. This color here, they use it a lot.
In a gold tie.
I
was at a DJ company. They made me wear a gold tie for it was where people would go to like book their weddings. It was like a thing that it was where the Pistons played, blah blah blah, and we had to go there and pitch, and they made me wear a black shirt and gold tie. It's like, this gold tie looks like cheesy as fuck, right? They're like, no, it looks good. I'm like, no, it looks really really stupid. like a gold tie, there's nothing more cheesy except for Chuck E. Cheese himself, which is respectable.
Yeah. Gold tie is maybe kind of a lazy fallback. But I mean, I think in this case, it does really work.
It fits because everything is like,
Yeah.
earthy.
And it also, because he's kind of golden. He's kind of golden in a way.
Maybe. You did get a super
Paul
chat
Bettany.
from Maura Lee.
Thank you so much, Maura Lee. Oh my God. Justin, you want to read it?
Yeah, she is one of my Patreons. She has been
what a sweetheart.
Oh, she is one of the best in the fandom. Thank you for all these fabulous videos on costumes from our favorite movies and TV shows. Love you. Justin, she put my name in there too. That's me.
Aww,
Justin. No, she is
so
fantastic.
Sweet.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And actually, last week, AU, I don't know if he's still here. He is. He bought me 3 glasses of wine.
Uh-oh.
Which I said, I'm going to the liquor store right now to buy a bottle. So it went towards my bottle. Thank you so much, AU, for that. I really appreciated that. Jack and I drank that together.
And AU, I'm not adverse to wine here. You know what I mean? So why don't you dine me every once in a while, you silly fella?
The app is buy me a cup of coffee. And I'm like, no. So you can change it. So you can have someone buy you a beer, or you can have someone buy you a glass of wine. So he bought me 3 glasses of wine. I thought that was the sweetest. So thank you so much, Maura Lee. That's lovely.
Yeah, she's really a fantastic supporter of like all, like Robert, myself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, she's always a presence within the community, and she's a nurse as well, working on the front line. So big shout out to Maura.
I wanted to show Monica's outfit here. The other thing that by the way, so one of the things I wanted to mention, even though Mayes is this wonderful costume designer who did this, she has been very clear that it was very collaborative. So when she did the fittings with both Paul Bettany and also with, she calls her Lizzie, Elizabeth Olsen, she said it was very collaborative. She said, usually in a fitting, an actor will try on, several outfits, but she said they insisted on trying all the outfits on. So for instance, when I was doing my interview about The Stand, she told me that for instance, Whoopi Goldberg tried nothing on, like 0 costumes, which I thought, really? Okay. And then she told me that Alexander Skarsgård tried 3 things on, and they went with those 3 things. Whereas in this case, she said they tried everything on. And she said she designed pretty much everything and made everything. So nothing's vintage, except what I was mentioning about the fabric. But the other person that she really collaborated a lot with is the actress who plays Monica, who is in this picture here. So she said she was amazing to work with, very, very thorough. I have a quote from her here. What does she say?
In the meantime, I want to bring up with Nage Conchola, gold tie equals color, the Infinity Stone. Good pickup.
That's a really great point.
Yeah.
See, I didn't even think about that.
Look at me.
By the way, if you're looking for Easter eggs here, you probably won't find any because, but there are lots of great YouTubers who have the brooch, like that is, I've seen that everywhere.
But we can get your Easter eggs. We love it.
Okay. So here's what she says about Monica's costume. So she says her costumes are going to be crazy. I mean, we've already seen it. So she said this before. Her costumes, she's embracing all the groovy of the 70s, bell bottoms. Can't say more about the pants. Kiana was sorry. And how do you pronounce her name? The actress.
How's it spelled?
I don't know. I wrote it down phonetically. Kiana was so involved in the costumes as well. She is one of the most serious actors. She is full on. She's a very important character in the show. And I didn't know anything about the comics, but I did look up and I saw something that she will be a major player.
Because she was a child actor, and I never saw Captain Marvel, but she was evidently a little girl, and I think she's done a really good job as an actress in general. And wow, I really like that purple. Is that purple or blue? And
it's like it's actually like a cobalt blue, I would say.
Okay.
But her eye makeup.
Yeah, her shadow.
So she had a lot of input in that. So for instance, here's a wide shot of her here with the crazy bell bottoms, and they have fish on them. Actually, it looks like maybe whales. What are they?
It's ridiculous. It doesn't matter which, but she looks good in it. So
I have a feeling that's vintage fabric as well, as is Elizabeth Olsen's fabric. But there's a good picture of it. No, I think they're fish. Maybe.
Was it a case? I'm being serious, Heidi, of just like they figured out they could print on the fabric, and they're like, just let's go nuts. That looks like a dolphin or a whale.
Yeah, well, no, they might have found that fabric. So I was mentioning to you guys that this fabric that Elizabeth Olsen is wearing here is actually vintage fabric, but she only had 30 meters of it. And this lace looks vintage on her sleeves. My mom used to have a jumpsuit made out of lace like this. It's machine lace.
Can you just wash that, or does it have to go to the dry cleaner?
It's totally polyester. Throw it in the wash and dryer. Yeah, absolutely. 30 days like Elizabeth's dress.
Yeah, I mean, she actually looks the most fashionable, to be honest with you.
She does. Actually, I think you probably could get away with that outfit nowadays.
Well, she could. She definitely could.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pregnancy dress, but I think you could totally get away with that. It's super cute, and the cut is really flattering, I think.
But I'm talking about also her. I'm talking about, I think that she definitely could get away with, I think that the colors.
She looks great in everything. Like they showed her in all periods. She looks great in actually, I find all the actors look really good in all the different periods. It's amazing. Now, another thing I read is that they also wore proper foundation garments too. So depending on the period, they would have worn period specific undergarments like corsets or underwear or, that type of thing.
So corsets were still in use in the 70s?
Like not in the 70s, sorry. No, in the 50s. They would have worn like some type of corset, cinching
like
device.
A tourniquet on your
tourniquet.
Yeah. I mean, that is right. I mean, that's essentially what a corset is.
Yeah. So one of the things I read is that the actress who plays Monica, if someone in the chat knows how to say her name, that'd be awesome. She actually wanted to have more like Afro type hair. Mm-hmm. And so they this is Good Times. Now, I watched this show. Did you ever watch Good Times?
I know it's Dynamite, but no, I did not.
It is. So Jimmy Walker. It was funny because I was talking about this the other day, and years ago when I watched it, what was her name? Janet Jackson was a guest star on it. And it was the first time I'd ever seen on television domestic violence depicted on television. Her mother was abusing her in the show. So that was the first time as a kid that I'd ever seen domestic violence depicted on a show.
Yeah, it was ground. And that's what's important about the series, the Tied Up, that, they do go through the medium and they go through how we went through the period of, they didn't think, it might sound silly now, but they didn't think stories could be told through the visual medium of film. And then, so we start with the black and white, which is a lot of vaudeville actors, which are actual, threats, meaning like they got like triple
threats.
Yeah, triple threats. Yeah, like they can dance, they can sing, they can act, they can do it all.
Or unless you're Fred Astaire. If you're Fred Astaire, you could sing a little. Or no, is it can't sing, can't act.
In the rare case you're Fred Astaire, there's an exception, okay, but let's just say that that's a rare case. And then they transferred in, and it's the organic just evolution of story in general, that not only we have more colors, and they figure out that, hey, we can actually tell a story within the color scheme of what we're showing. Once we went to this, to the actual messy 90s of let's have Roseanne, let's show real America, all that, to the docu style. And it is very it's very representative of our culture, because our culture it reaches to story in stories.
Oh, thanks. Sarah's here. Thanks, Sarah. She says the actress is Tiana Paris. I was like, because Maya's has a very thick accent, so I was just transcribing what she was saying, and I said, did she say Kiana? But she said, obviously, she said Tiana. Tiana. I guess that's how you pronounce it. Fred Astaire is a pretty good dancer.
Hugh Jackman is a triple threat these days, and that's
absolutely, yes.
Yeah,
he's amazing,
and he'll beat your ass. And then he'll do a ballet dance.
He will. Yeah. You don't want to go after him when he's doing his protein diet or whatever. Yeah. He's always on these weird
well, he's a muskrat. So you know what I mean? You got to be careful of those guys. So
actually, I saw him on the Tonight Show or something baking bread. So he's now kind of at home.
But he'll beat your ass and bake bread, make you look like a punk.
He looked like he lost some of the bulk. I think he's lost some of his bulk. So
he put on 17 pounds of muscle for the first X-Men movie, and then he put on about 40 pounds of muscle HGH for the rest of them. But it wouldn't mess with him.
Yeah,
Talented guy.
Here is is it, sorry, I keep forgetting her name. Is it Agnes?
Yeah,
I keep forgetting her name.
Yeah.
Agnes, yeah. So she's got, and they've been wigging her as well. She's got this really crazy kind of layered swept back, super wide collar outfit. And okay, so now we're going to go into the 80s, which is your favorite.
Oh, God, I hate the 80s.
We're going to wrap things up shortly because Justin and I are doing another live stream. So let's just plow through this quickly. So we've got Growing Pains.
Terrible.
This, awful.
Mike Seaver, go screw yourself.
I did watch this a little bit, and I did watch this a little bit. Did you
Even
watch?
worse.
Oh, hi, Dee. Dee's here.
Terrible.
It's too difficult to maintain that size and muscle unless he needs to go for a ride.
But, I mean, it's HGH, people.
He was jacked.
Yeah.
Are you? Oh, you're talking about he was taking steroids?
Well, human growth and then steroids. Yeah. I mean, Ben Affleck. Look at him as Batman. So they got to be Batman.
Okay, I just have to say this haircut on Paul Bettany. Oh my God, that haircut.
That looks like me when I was 7.
It's like Ricky Schroeder.
It looks like me when I was 7. I have a picture. Honestly,
it is bad.
It is terrible. I know.
Yeah, and I just
it.
love Paul Bettany all the more that he was willing to go for it.
Hey, I had to go for it. I had to do it.
And then Elizabeth Olsen is wearing acid wash, which should be, I swear to God, someone has to put that in a vault and never let it out again because it's just the worst.
Has it ever been popular? Stonewash has never been popular.
That's acid washed.
Well,
Stonewash isn't so bad. That's acid washed.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty close to.
Yeah, and with the side snaps. Although, like I love the 80s costumes that they do in Stranger Things. I just think they're the cutest. But this is supposed to be an homage to Full House. And I have to say, I couldn't even handle that show watching their fashions while it was happening. So looking back at it, it's just even worse because I used to be like, we don't dress like that. What is with the clothing on this show?
Yeah.
I just thought it was the strangest thing.
But it's just like, it's so hard. I don't know. I mean, I know it's cyclic, right? Like fashion. But at the same time, it's like.
Aistin said she had pants like that. Aistin, were they like, did they have a yoke? Because that was the thing that cracked me up the most was the jeans with the yoke, which I don't even know if they have that in here.
Like look at her overshirt there. Like that is like a ridiculous. Like it's just like unnecessary. It's like it's just like something that doesn't need to be there. Is this Dee Niman in the? Is this Nick?
She was doing a 20-minute workout and she got a little chilly, and so she just put that on. It's a shrug.
No. Yeah, that doesn't. No.
And Paul Bettany with the high-waisted pants. But the thing that cracks me up the most is, and I have to say, I think I did have an outfit a little bit like this. The pleated pants, the pleated front pants with the brocade vest. I don't know who decided that was a thing. I actually have a family portrait of my family where we're all wearing like a brocade vest with the brooch. I got to burn that. And that hair, her hair is the best. I love it. But obviously Agnes she's the MVP of this episode, I believe. Look at this girl.
Yeah, she is. Oh, she's a fantastic actress. She went from, Step Brothers and many things before that. She's very versatile. I want to say a shout out.
Step Brothers is great.
This is Dee Niman, big fan of Daniel from your guys' crew. This is
Dana Battelle. Yes.
Yeah.
They you know what? Unfortunately, Dee, I wanted to go into your live stream. I couldn't go in because we were prepping for the show. I was doing like the TV thing where I was like at my typewriter, click, 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 Stanley Kubrick style, typing out my script like minutes before we went live.
Yeah, no,
I pulled it out hot off the presses to come down here to the studio.
Yeah, no, he is part of the group with Nick Niman. Yes. I assume that's your brother.
It is. And Dan Niman.
I've subscribed to your channel, sir. And Daniel. I find Daniel to be incredibly helpful as far as Filmora tutorials go. So big props to you, man. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah,
I really appreciate you coming by, Dee. Dee's watching WandaVision. Dee, tell me if you're watching WandaVision. I'm pretty sure you are. Dee says no excuse. So anyway, so this is my MVP. We have to go quickly though, because we're about to do here. This is hilarious.
Never okay.
I don't have a clear enough picture to know what this motif is on his tie, but that I don't even know. That is just.
It looks like some sort of a is that a triad?
It looks like a Game of Thrones thing. It is a one of the sigils from Game of Thrones.
Like a triad or like anything like sailor or somebody might use. It's terrible. If it's more than 4 inches wide, it's not a tie you should wear.
Absolutely. Now, what did you think of these super high-waisted pants that Wanda's wearing? I actually kind of dig these. I kind of dig these pants. Would you go out with a girl who wore these pants?
Well, I'd go out with her that wore those pants.
What about what's her name from Vikings if she wore this?
Oh no, me and Lagatha are done. Catherine Winnick. So
is she your other girlfriend?
Yeah, her new show didn't do well. So
you know, I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, I got to drop her ass. You know what I mean? And that money. Yeah. But yeah, no, that's not. I don't like the pants up to the nips. There's something about it that never seemed like it should have been a good idea. And what
about the suspenders? Are you a suspenders
guy?
Huh?
No. Who's this? Like, what, are you asking me if I want to date Urkel with tits?
Suspenders.
No, I don't want to date Urkel with tits. I'm sorry, I just don't want to do it. Like, nothing about that is appealing. It's like, what does she need those suspenders for? To make sure they suspend those up to her nips? So like, that is insane. Like those
the suspenders are going around her nips. No, the suspenders are there. Honestly, they do not hold up the pants. They were just a design detail. I used to wear suspenders. I'm just saying that. It was like a haberdashery, girls dressing slightly like masculine. It was
because gravity is an actual thing, and I agree with science and physics, but you don't need all of that. Yeah, I mean, of course, if Elizabeth Olsen came up to me and she asked politely, I'd let her take me out to dinner, but wearing those pants. But yeah, no, that's not the ideal. I don't ever get that. Like, when was it? It's like, ooh, look at how high those pants are. Is I've got V-necks.
Oh yeah,
that will reach that button.
They're pleated. They not only are they high waisted, but they're pleated and stitched down. I mean, and there's a yoke. Asun's still here. She totally adores these.
Yeah, I mean, I'll pretty much settle for anything with a nice 401k. But yeah, no, I'm not into it whatsoever. All right, and those whole magic things. Yeah,
we gotta go quickly. We gotta go to we're gonna do Malcolm in the Middle next, which is this show. What's with the youngest kid in the show, by the way?
He's just generally unhappy.
That haircut.
That was the haircut.
I mean, Walter White's in this show, so I don't want to diss it too badly. I know you don't like it. So there's the opening, which obviously is an homage to Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah.
All right. So apparently Elizabeth Olsen said she fought the producers to be able to wear this outfit. What do you think of that decision for her to wear that for Halloween?
She fought them to wear it?
Apparently the story goes is that Paul Bettany, they always had thought that they would put Paul Bettany in his comic book costume for Halloween, but they were going to put her in something completely different. And she said that she had to fight to actually have this outfit.
The red. I mean, I guess, is it because they thought it was too revealing, or if they thought it wasn't revealing? I don't know the context still. You know what I mean?
I think that they just had another idea, and she said, "No, I should be wearing the white, the witch costume, from the comic, which is I have a picture of it here. Here.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with her decision then, because that definitely fits that right there.
So Asun says it was supposed to be a gypsy outfit originally, and she had to fight the producers to. I love this costume. So I have to tell you what Mayas, the costume designer, says about this. And this is her, like she's got a thick accent. So it's a little bit, let's see what she said. I've transcribed it from her, so it may not completely make sense.
But I do like how these costumes are also it makes them look silly. It's because it's kind of a scaled down version of just their actual ones.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah,
so it's like a parody.
Absolutely. So Mayas, this is what she says. So just remembering, I'm transcribing this from what she says. She says, imagine if you have a nightmare that you work in Marvel and you try to make incredible costumes and they turn out like that. Our producers embraced it so much with bright yellow and deep green and the very bright red and pink stockings on Lizzie, just like it was drawn in the 50s and 60s. So, I guess the idea is that it would be like if you had this dream as a costume designer to work on these Marvel costumes and this is what you ended up with. That's sort of the idea. I kind of look at it maybe if it was like a community theater. If the community theater were making the costumes, maybe
but also, it's not always the best makeup. It's not always like meaning like the most sophisticated technique. It is knowing the medium. And what
Yeah.
they're trying to convey here is an homage / parody, right?
Yeah.
Which this nails. So this technically is the best costume. Like they sure as hell could have had a way better one. We've seen them, right? They spent quite a bit of money on effects for this. And they chose to go with this because that is the best costume. It's a parody of himself. So yes, is it a good costume? No, but it is the best costume for context.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like, but you know, like I love the cape. It looks kind of like a store-bought cape. Like it looks store-bought.
You know
And it looks like you know, the Vision would have put this together himself. He would have done it himself. Actually, I have to say though that her costume is actually very well done, even though it's supposed to look like a you know, a Halloween costume, but that the face mask, for instance, partial mask, whatever you call it, and even the bodysuit and everything is still quite well done. Again, the cape could be a store-bought cape.
Maybe. You know,
but it's still quite well done, I think.
Well, yeah. I mean, I still
think Asun said she wanted it to be comic accurate.
And if she's gonna do a theater, it's gonna be a full house. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's gonna work. There's a pun in there.
And then there's she with her fake brother, who is so it says
he's like Ace Ventura in this. Like I didn't get his.
And no, he's supposed to be it says he's supposed to be wearing his counterpart as well, which is also from the comics with the hair like that. I guess because he's running fast, like lightning.
Yeah, I get it.
30 Days says nope. What do you mean 30 days? Do you mean nope to the costume or?
I hated this episode. It was one I really, really despised.
Okay. Now, I know you hated that. Okay, but let's get to the last one because we have to move because we only have we have to be out of here. We're supposed to be done. Okay, let's just finish this off. So the last
I know the guy that runs the other channel. Don't worry about it.
Okay, so this episode, Modern Family, The Office, like with the fourth wall broken, and then we thought Arrested Development, maybe Curb Your Enthusiasm. So she wakes up, everything is kind of glitching, you know. I have to say, I love the design of this house. I loved it. I was like, I could totally live in that house. I could totally sleep in that bed under those blankets she had. I just loved it a lot.
The decent art behind her in a good frame. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's like you spent $120 for that, but was it worth it for that Ansel Adams that also in McDonald's? I don't know. But no, I get it. It's a upper middle class.
And I love that she woke up. Did you know she woke up in her costume with her pink stockings?
Yes,
and like, she's like, you know, she didn't even get to bed without changing. So
it's like she has a hangover from the last episode.
She had a hangover, and her husband's been missing all night. She's like, "Where's Dad?" So here she is trying to, and then she keeps switching back from almond milk to regular milk.
Is she that much taller than her sisters? Because she seems to be.
I don't know.
She seems taller. It doesn't matter right now, but yeah, I'll look it up. It seems like she's quite a bit taller.
Yeah. And then, okay, so there is, all right. This is very contemporary, this whole thing, I think.
I love it when Agnes says, I have actually been a kid.
What does she say?
She goes, oh, I won't bite. She goes, I actually did bite a kid one time.
I know. And then and I know, I love that line. And then, because normally you would say, oh, but it was just, you know, but she doesn't do that.
No. It's that awkward silence. It's the two zoom. This is what happens this was at the prime of my writing, which never really went anywhere. Yeah. But we used to write, and I was a big argument with my writing partner who was writing for like the false biodocs. I said, this is where everybody's going. We need to go this way. They wanted more of the traditional theme. So it really speaks to me. And the way that Parks does it and The Office does it is they do one zoom on somebody when they first start what they're saying to the camera. And then at the punchline, awkwardness, there's one more zoom and they catch it. And then they pan away. It's like, so it shows you the cinematography, and they catch this in this episode too, if you pay attention to that. And you'll realize Parks and Rec is notorious for this. It's like, I didn't used to do this. but yeah, I did kill a kid, you know, and then it zooms
Yeah.
in. It's
Yeah.
very good.
They
Very
look
well
off,
done.
they look off at the camera like just like that nod.
Because it's the deeper zoom into their,
Yeah.
you know, into their whatever.
By the way, Jack, okay, so Jack thought it was hilarious. He loved this part where Vision is talking to the camera and then it's like, what am I doing? And he says, oh my God, he even has like a lavalier mic on
Yeah.
when he takes off. He thought that was awesome. He just loved that. And actually, you know, it's funny because I was thinking about when we were talking about the colors that he was wearing with other outfit, that sort of teal, green, blue, and the gold. It kind of reminds me of this costume. So I was thinking maybe that might have been another reason why she had the gold and that turquoise color, that teal blue color, was maybe because of his outfit.
Yeah, I mean, everything is inspired, but now we have to ask
And the maroon.
ourselves, how much is Agnes, right? Like
Yeah. No, that's absolutely
yeah.
true. Yes,
Yeah.
that's absolutely true. But I think she's trying to make it believable enough, you know?
Yeah, I buy in. I believe that I believe this since the beginning without even the comics, that, you know, this is Scarlet Witch's you know, I can't say the word now.
Manifestation?
Yes, of her grief, and then you have people that come in and they take advantage of it.
Yeah, like manipulate.
Yeah, because that's kind of what happens in the comics, but it also makes sense because she is unaware of what's happening as well to a certain extent, but then maintains agency over it. And we have to think about what we'd really do when we deny something, whether it's health, whether it's relationship-wise, job-wise, whatever it is. We deny. But if we can alter reality, imagine the catastrophe in which we could manifest, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what's happening here. And imagine the door that opens for people that want to take advantage of maybe mutant kids.
Well, and I was thinking like about it. So when Vision says, this is Wanda keeping us, you know, with all those really hilarious things that are happening at the intersection and then the kids crossing, I was like, no, it's probably what's her name doing it instead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they've always been pushing kids since the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Like the main push has been like, do it for the kids, have some kids, and then finally have kids. Like it gets very overt, and then they have kids. So it's like she manifests this reality, but those kids can be taken from it. And now that she has had her hand forced and she has extended it to more of the outer world, they can become more and more, from what I understand, available for plucking out of that reality.
Yeah. Okay. So I was going to say my MVP for this episode. Oh my God. This outfit was amazing. In fact, a scene's here. It might be my favorite for the series. I absolutely love it. The scene where she's actually chained up and then she just kind of removes them herself. And she's wearing, I think she's wearing the same glasses. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought she was wearing the same glasses that she had from before.
Well, yeah, I think that right now we have kind of the meta commentary on the analysis of the show. It's almost like they were YouTubers looking in, right? Like trying to dissect it, and now they're a part of it. They're kind of clowning them very overtly, and not a lot of metaphor there. But I think that what really hinges on this having a second season, if they plan on doing it, is making those kids that catalyst for their defense. Because only bring Vision back, even if he's dead or alive, but to survive within what she has manifested is those children. So I think that there is your primal and your emotional spine to your story right here. And I think this is a fantastic just testament to film theory and to the evolution of storytelling through the visual medium of television, sometimes seamlessly moving into commercials in a way that I know they're doing it, but I watch them late at night. Sometimes I've been like, oh shit, like I actually thought that was a commercial for like 2 seconds there. So
yeah, no, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing that you have a commercial within a show, and then you have an intro within a show. Like the intro for the show is within the show, and then you have the closing of the show, and then you sometimes have a closing within the show. It's super meta, right? It's like really, it's like mind bending.
Absolutely
in a
is.
lot of ways.
It breaks all the walls, and it's very.
Thank you. Asen says same colors but different glasses. The real world glasses are less curved. Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
I love these glasses though. I think they're
I'd
fabulous.
love to see you do a breakdown, an individual breakdown on your channel.
Yeah.
For this, and I can't thank you enough for having me on, because I think this is a very, if anything,
Here's the last
we're
slide
not
ahead.
we're not huge comic book fans, me or you. We don't hate them.
Yeah.
But we're not all that familiar, and we still love it because of the story within, in the film theory within, meaning like the way in which we convey these stories in the medium. So yeah, it's a fantastic.
By the way, look at her eyes here. Don't they look like? Oh, they're purple, but they kind of remind me of Dune.
Yeah, they're way too blue, but they're beautiful.
And then here's I just have the last, the little
perm.
secret.
Hey, she pulls a perm. If you can pull a perm, you got to go.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. So what's happening is Justin and I are going to take a wee little break. I'm going to go to grab a coffee or something. And then we're going to be back on his channel. So Gray Area is not coming, just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us, you and I. I can't hear you. Did I meet? Oh, did I?
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Oh, there you are. Did I meet you?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, yeah. So it's just Gray Area.
It'll be us too. We'll be talking about House of the Dragon, and yeah, Gray had something come up, so it'll be fine. And we plan on doing this with just us anyways, and we'll talk about the costume designer as you did with Tony Teflon's channel last week, and we will talk about the style and the characters of the House of the Dragon coming up. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for everybody that was so kind.
I gotta just get the link. I gotta get the link from you. Let me just get it here. Hold on. I'm gonna get the link and I'm gonna put it in the in the tab. You know, I can't do two things at once, guys, right? Like it's just really hard for me here. Okay, I'm gonna put the link in. And then that's where we're going to be in about 15 minutes. We just need a quick little break.
Yeah. No, thank you so much for having me on, Heidi.
So Justin, just before I let you go, just tell everybody a little bit about yourself and where they can find you.
Top Shelf Fandom. My name is Justin Thomas. I do also editing work and production work in a advisory sense, meaning like more of a producer, more of polishing work and driving that creativity and making it so you don't have to wear so many hats, because content creators these days have to wear so many damn hats that it's not even reasonable to think that you'd be able to do everything that you need to do, which is essentially working 13 different media jobs within one channel. So yeah, I had my own channel and I went to school for acting, editing, production work, blah, 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 and all that. And I love to, shoot the shite. I don't know why I thought that might be censored, but I don't think that's better. Yeah, I didn't want to say shit. Yeah, just anyway, on there. But I like to do all that, and I like to have my own commentary, my own introspect, my own insight into things. But yeah, I really enjoy working with other talented creators such as Heidi and so forth, because that's really from the outside looking in where I can hone in my capabilities. But I have a hell of a time doing this, and we're going to be covering House of the Dragon, and I cannot wait. And there's not a better source for information on this platform, especially when it comes to aesthetic as well as storytelling, than Costume Co. Heidi.
Aww.
So yeah,
I was going to tell you before we go, there's a really great series on Netflix. Nicolas Cage is hosting it, and it's about on the origins of swear words and curse words. And I watched two. I watched the F one and I watched the SH one. And it was awesome. So you should check that out.
You had me at Nicolas Cage.
It's hilarious. You get to hear him say the F word like multiple times.
Well, he bought a lot of dinosaur bones, so he owes money. So yeah. But we will see you in a few.
He's got some new hair plugs or something.
I know, I'm jealous. But yeah, thank you guys.
Okay, well, thanks everyone for coming. It was really, really fun. And I want to say thank you again for Morally for the wonderful super chat. I don't know what happened. I think I lost Justin.
I'm here.
Did I lose you?
I'm here.
Oh my God. Okay. So anyways, it's time to go. We're going to go get something to drink and we'll see you guys on the other side. Okay. Take care, everyone.